What's up, anime lovers? It's Josh, and today we're doing What If Deku Was Zoro's Reincarnation Part 2. Make sure to share the video, subscribe, and leave a funny comment. Whoever is funniest will get, shout out in my next video. So yeah, So how this would work is that, we're gonna continue where we left off. Zoro would slowly be drifting in a green mindscape. At the end, he would see 3 huge swords, and the swords would resemble the ones that he carried around with him at all times. "This is different," he would say out loud, as the swords would start to glow and explain to him that they were alive and have chosen him as their new master. And then they would explain their abilities. The first sword being named Raijin, with the ability to send electricity that can teleport, and people. Number 2 would be Zanzetsuken, which can, when it touches something, it would decay it slowly, almost like poison. And the third sword being named Yorukaze, which helps people control and, manipulate wind into shapes. Just basic stuff. Zoro would then thank the swords politely and would leave the mindscape and slowly open his eyes to see Uraraka, his master, and some other person, female, standing beside his bed. Who is she, and why is she not wearing any clothes? Well, not any clothes. Why are some of her clothes missing? His master would then tell her that this is Momo and that this is just her style of clothes, and that she was also another apprentice that he had. Zoro replied, "So after all these years of training with you, you now tell me you have another apprentice?" Him and Yoroi, the number 9 hero, would start arguing, completely ignoring Uraraka, who was trying to thank him for saving her, and Momo, who, just wanted to formally introduce herself. The two girls would realize it's absolutely pointless trying to get their attention, and they'll then leave, to get some Starbucks, Winn-Dixie, whatever My Hero Academia has. Zoro and the samurai would then still be arguing, and it would be getting tense. "So, you've been hiding this from me," Zoro would say, being all dramatic and just being him. He would then tell his master that they need to spar, and he would call out Raijin. He would then unhook his sword from his holder, and they would start to go into 1v1, slashing, dodging each other's attacks, and Zoro's doing pretty well. Seeing that, he's Zoro, okay? Zoro would then notice his vision is somewhat similar. He would then tell Zoro, "Hey, stop real quick, man. How many eyes do I have right now?" Zoro would tell them in a sorry voice that, "I'm sorry, but you only have one. One of your eyes was cut when the 0 pointer was falling." Zoro would say, expecting his student to be sad about losing an eye, but Zoro would be laughing, saying, "Oh my god, thank God. I wanted to cut one of my eyes, but I just didn't want to do it right now." Zoro would think this boy is crazy, and Zoro would just carry on with his day. He would then leave the hospital and just start walking around town, getting lost as usual. He was trying to find some sake, but he was too young to be drinking, which he hated. After walking around for a couple of minutes, hours, who knows, he would then bump into a blonde-haired boy. "Watch where you're going, brat," he yelled. "Move it," Zoro would say, hushly, urgently, and trying to push the kid aside, and would start to walk away. "You bastard," yelled the kid, and he would have the explosion in his hands trying to hit Zoro from behind. No homo. So, all you freaks out there watching this, no homo. Zoro would then cover his hand and arm in haki and would just catch the kid's fist. He would then get a little serious, and the kid would just start, going back and forth, punching, kicking, dodging, just doing the usual hand-to-hand combat, almost like this is Naruto, and Zoro would kick him into a wall. He would then start to say, "No sword style, black rope dragon twister." He would then punch super hard into the air, creating whirlwind, and would change the weather. The kid would then start to fly away, faster than Team Rocket from Pokemon, and everyone would be like, "Oh shit! This man can change the weather. Is this nigga All Might?" Zoro would start to, hide his presence and just vanish from the scene because people were starting to make a lot of commotion, and he would appear on the top of a building. After, just sitting around for like 10 minutes, he would decide to do something he's never done before. I wonder how Inka was doing. Maybe she decided to leave and go somewhere else, he would say out loud. And he would start to look for her house, or his old house, and after 2 hours of searching and getting lost, he would finally found where his old house was supposed to be. In its place was a big, really expensive, millionaire looking house. What the hell? Zoro would start to whisper, and then he would go find the nearest window, because the house is actually a 3-story house, and Deku would go to like the first floor and just like look through the window, and he would see a black-haired man that seemed very rich from his outfit, and he would see a kid with green hair levitating what seemed to be a toy. He would then see the black-haired man smile and walk over to a corner and kiss a green-haired woman, which would just walk out and reveal herself to be Inku. She was smiling. "Mom?" Deku or Zoro would whisper before starting to get a little bit in his feelings. And then he would punch the window, softly cracking it, but everybody inside, well, especially Inku, would find this, catch his attention, and she would see Izuku. Zoro would then vanish, and Inku would rush outside, starting to yell while crying, "Izuku! Izuku, where are you?" While rushing home, a little bit sad that he was replaced, but he was happy to see his mom was doing well. He would reach like his dorm or wherever his master put him to sleep, probably some comfy ass room, and he would see his accept this letter to Yue. While watching it and not caring, he would start to pick up his swords and start to pet it, and saying that they were his only things, because they literally were only things he actually cared about now, or in this moment. The next morning, Zoro would wake up and, deciding not to get lost for once, would use the money that he pickpocketed from the blonde-haired kid to, go on the bus. Something simple. Once he pulled up at UA, Zoro would get off and, with no joke, take him 40 minutes to reach class 1A because homie is very bad with directions. Once he reached the door, he would say, "Wow, the door is so big. You would have thought Kaido or Big Mom lived inside here." And then he would open the door and Aizawa would yell at him, "You're late. This will not do. This is not the making of a true hero." Yeah, whatever, Zoro would say, and then he would look to the class and start to introduce himself. "My name is Zoro. I love to sleep, eat, drink sake, and that's it." He would then see an angry blonde-haired kid, and the kid would yell "die" towards Zoro while leaping at him with two big explosions. Zoro would then draw his swords and, quickly just slash the kid. The kid would start to yell, and then right after, both of his hands would be cut clean off. "What have you done?" Aizawa and everyone would yell, especially Bakugo. Aizawa and some students would quickly rush Bakugo to Recovery Girl, and she would just kiss him and just make him better. Take it or leave it. Take it however you want it. I don't know where he kissed him. Just kissed him, make it better. That's a quirk. And the rest of the day would go on as in the original, just without, Zoro Bakugo being there. While Aizawa told them to put on their suits to go, change, all the boys would be looking at him, and what was his name? Kirishima would say, "That's a manly scar, dude. How did you get it?" Zoro would then talk about going to the path of the warrior, finding himself and just being the best he could. And nobody would care, and they would all leave outside. And once outside, the girls would be a little bit scared, except for Momo, which she had actually admired his scar, thinking it was manly. So did Uraraka, but you know. The physical test, like for Zoro, would be very, 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 very easy, because Zoro in the anime can lift around 9,000 pounds, but we're gonna start him off a little bit, you know, lifting at least 2,000 pounds, just to, you know, calm it down a little bit. And Zoro would ace everything besides the ball throw, because, you know, Uraraka won that. And yeah, he would beat, yeah, I can believe Zoro would beat Ida in a race. After exams, Momo would walk over to Zoro and tell them that, like, start to talk to him. Deku would then look at Momo and say, "Hey, beautiful." And this would make Momo blush a little bit, or a lot, and she would smack her face, shaking her head, snapping back to her senses. She would then ask Zoro to spar with her, and Zoro would laugh. So kind of like 1v1, he said. And she would say yeah, but she's not going easy on him, that she has a big surprise for this dude. Aizawa in the background listening to everything would start to smile and say, "Oh, this should be fun." And then he would lead him and Momo and the rest of the students that were there to some type of arena inside of the school. He would then explain to them that this is the arena they use that wasn't for like the sports festival and junk, just for like a fair fight inside. And yeah, before I go on, I want to give you guys a little insight on something that I've been thinking about. This what if I just have to add a challenge for you. I actually have two challenges. First challenge is that comment down below a character and their quirk. They can be a hero, a villain, just make a very detailed description of their quirk and just put it there. Whoever's character gets the most likes, I will add into the what if. I'll be doing this for every single video. So if you guys, whoever gets the most likes on their comments, I'll give it about 2 weeks max. And after 2 weeks, everything will be submitted. And I'll add the character into the what if. So I just want to get you guys a little bit involved into the story as well. They could be a hero, a villain, just a random person, just as long as your comment gets likes. And yeah, the second challenge is that if we reach 1K by the end of this month, okay guys, not only would you be helping me, yourselves, because I get to ask you guys more questions, get to know you better, you know, I might do a little face reveal. That's only by the end of this month, so share with a friend. Alright, back to the story. I don't want to bother you. While walking into the stage, Zoro would tell Momo that he's only gonna use one sword, which was Raijin, to fight. Momo would say, "You would regret this," and she would start to smirk. See, in this what if, I wanted to be super original, so I gave Momo one for all. So this is how like one for all would like affect her quirk. Basically, now she can like mix the things she creates together. So like her main weapon is a sword mixed with some type of flamethrower. And so like whenever she swings the sword, like flames, like huge flames will come out. And one for all can boost the intensity of the flame or some junk. And she can also create more, bigger things, and doesn't really need to have like a pure understanding of how it's made. I don't know, Momo's just gonna be OP. I don't know if I'm gonna ship Momo or Uraraka. I'm gonna let you guys choose. So, yeah, y'all got a lot of commenting to do. While Aizawa would tell them to start, Zoro would yell, "Come to me, Thunder Sword Raijin," and he would draw his sword, and Momo would just do her thing, you know, creating her sword that I just told you about. Alright, then they would start to, you know, fight. Okay, this is how the fight would go. You know, Momo would be focusing on offense, slashing, throwing fire, burning, kind of burning Zoro's like shoulders a little bit, because he was blocking very intensely, and the slashes were going very quick. You guys can just make it in your head how the fight goes. After slashing, dodging, Momo be on pure offense, and Zoro not trying to get burned. He's trying to observe Momo's patterns a little bit, trying to figure her out, he would finally start to realize her pattern, kind of her sword style, her sword technique. You know, you're pretty weak, he would say, and this would enrage Momo, and she would say, alright then, I'm gonna use 25% of my quirk, or my other quirk. And she would tell him by one for all how she got it, and she would focus it on her sword. You better dodge this, Zoro, or you're gonna die. Big flames would start erupting from her sword, and it kind of took shape of a dragon. She would then swing her swords towards Zoro, and like the flame covered like almost half the whole entire arena. And Zoro would put on, he would like, go in slow motion, put on his green headband, and go Zoro mode. You know, I am the blade of my sword. He would start to mutter, and he would then cover himself in lightning. Kind of like the right Hokage from Naruto. Nani? Momo would yell, swinging her sword back and forth, trying to hit him, but Zoro's vanishing, reappearing, dodging all over, with his lightning just increasing his speed by tons. And he would get closer and closer to Momo. And then he would say, Lightning God, piercing strike. He would release a big amount of electricity, hitting Momo, knocking her out. While Momo was falling to the floor in slow motion, he would stop her and then whisper in her ear, You're a special one. He would then lean in slowly to her, all romantic like, and to be continued in part 3. Well, hope you guys liked it.